are going to learn one more new financial statement called cash flow statement. Okay, so this is one of the interesting thing that I came across because it is complex in the first when we are seeing it for the first time, but once we understand it, do it, it is the most simplest of all. Okay, so for the first trial, for sure it is the most complex type of financial statement. Okay, now let's recap a bit. So previously we have studied what are the accounts, the types of accounts, and the golden rules to identify the accounts in the transactions, and then to classify which account is a debit account, which account is a credit account. Then we have seen the books of accounting, journal, ledger, and followed by which we have done trial balance. And in the previous videos we have done profit and loss account, from which we have derived balance sheet. So cash flow statement is the final statement that we are going to cover in this playlist, apart from the conceptual knowledge of others. So this is a financial statement. So if you have not seen the previous videos, please watch that and then continue with this video, because here again we are going to use the similar kind of concepts. Of course the formats and all will be different and the procedure will be different, but the concepts will be again required from the previous video. So please do complete that and then continue with this video. So let's get started. Right, so first, what is cash flow statement we'll see, and we'll see the concept, then the format, and if time permits we'll cover the problem in the same video, otherwise the next video. Yeah, so cash flow statement is like one of the statement which tells us what is the position in terms of cash of an organization. Like, does an organization have enough liquid cash that it can face the recent like if any requirements come across, or if anything unknown happens, does the organization have the ability to resolve those, or if it wants any new things to start, like in terms of operational activities, does the organization have enough amount of cash to mitigate some of the needs which might come across. Okay, so this again task is based on probability. Okay, so it's not like the rare thing they want to expand a new branch, or they want to have a new branch, and for that whether they have cash or not like that. So if in the current status only, if something new comes up, does the organization have the capability, or does the organization has enough liquidity to handle those requirements? So that's what cash flow statement says. So how we are taking decision whether the organization has the ability or not? So this completely depends on how much in a financial year, how much cash went out and how much cash come in. So overall we know the difference, so that's what we can say, that this is the liquid amount that the organization holds as of now. Okay, so this cash flow statement can be done in two types. One is indirect and direct. Okay, but we'll see the indirect thing, and then from that we can say, okay, there are some steps which if removed, that becomes a direct cash flow statement. Okay, so that's what we are going to see. Now cash flow statement is made out of these three activities, that is operational, investing, and financial activity. Now what is the operational activity? So as the name is self-explanatory, right? So if the company is for suppose manufacturing a product, right? So all the services or all the tasks that are involved with the intention of something which directly or indirectly affects the process of manufacturing, or it involves in providing the services. So all the core activities, core functional activities will come under operational activities. So the cash flow, okay, so recently we have used the term the cash that comes in the organization, that is known as cash inflow, and the cash that goes out of the organization we call it as cash outflow. Okay, so just keep that in mind, we are going to use that terms again and again. Yeah, now so when there is some transaction happening with respect to the operational activities, now we know what is operational activities, right? Something or any activity which has something to do with the production of their core product or providing services. Okay, and if any transaction is involved in those activities or in such activities, we call them as operational activities. Okay, now in those activities or in those transactions which are involved in the operational activities, we see what is the amount of cash going out, what is the amount of cash that is getting in. Now based on that we derive what is the final cash that we have in terms of operational activities. Okay, similarly we are going to see what amount of cash is there with the investing, and what amount of cash is there with the financial activities. Now we'll add up those, and finally the figure that we'll get will show the cash available with the organization, which again decides the capabilities of the organization. Okay. Now coming to investing activities. So what is investing activities? So it includes like when it has enough, okay, it has done enough, now it has all the branches and the operational activities is going fine and they have enough liquid. Now they want to like invest in some other companies, or they want to do some other things which could get them uh, returns on a long term or a short term, or they want to have a partnership with someone else. So it's like keep your organization aside and you want to keep your money somewhere else. That is called as investing. So a small simple definition for investing activities is which involves in the buying or in the okay, so investing, like you are buying something, like so if you buy shares, for suppose you are buying an asset. Okay, so the transactions which are involved in purchasing or selling of long term assets. Okay, so it's not the current assets, it's like which could be there for more than 1 year. So transactions involved in buying or selling of long term assets, that is non current assets, that is those transactions will come under investing activities, like buying shares of other companies. Okay, so yeah, that is the most top line example. Now next is the financing activities. So investing activities is like you are investing in some other company. Now financial activities is completely opposite of investing activities. So what financial activities, transactions involved in financial activities are the transactions which are meant for generating income for the organization. Okay, it's not the operational activities. For suppose you want to have a big you want to have lump sum amount of money, okay, for having a new brand. So for that, what you will do, you will you will issue the IPO, initial public offering, or you will have the public to buy shares in your company. You will open bonds for the public. Okay, so you'll get the loan from the bank. So all the transactions which are involved for getting money for the organization, that is getting finance for the organization. So transaction involved in such activities are called financial activities. So in each category we'll have some amount. Suppose operational activities is A, investing is B, finance is C. So amount in A plus B plus C. Now finally what amount we'll get, that is the figure that we are interested in, which will again show the liquid amount that is there with the organization. Okay. Now coming to the next slide, we have this format. Just forget it for a moment, concentrate on the second table. So I have this blue screen, I'll remove it once we are good with what should come there. So it's like a confusion matrix. Okay, so we are going to understand when we should say cash is incoming, or cash inflow is happening, or the cash outflow is happening. Okay, so first just to see, cash inflow means something which is coming inside the organization. So our cash account will be added by some more cash, so it means we are going to do plus. So cash is outflow means something, some amount of cash is going out of our cash account, means we are going to subtract that amount. So that is clear for cash outflow and inflow. Now when we should do the inflow and outflow, that we are going to see. Now suppose asset, like suppose you have a machine. Okay, asset is machine, for suppose. Now machine is gone. Okay, suppose machine is gone, it means you sold the money. So in that case what will happen? Machine is gone means money will come, correct? So machine is decreased, that is machine is gone. So machine gone, cash came. So we can say that cash will be added. So that's why we are saying, okay, let me do this. Cash inflow is happening. That is fine. Now in this case where we say that liability means like suppose I need to pay you. Okay. Now the amount that I need to pay you was 100. Now liability decreased means the amount I need to pay you decreased from 100 to 50. It means what? That I have paid, okay, let's say I have to pay you 1000. Now the amount is reduced to 100. That means now I have to pay you only 100. So what happened in between? It means 900 rupees I already paid you. It means some cash has gone from my cash account. I have paid some amount to you already. So the cash that I am having will be decreased. So cash outflow is happening. So when I am paying you, that is 1000 rupees will become 100 rupees, that is liability decreased. So it means the amount that I had in my cash account got decreased. So we call that as a cash outflow. Now coming to asset increases. Now again take the example of machine. Now suppose I bought one more machine, so it means my machine numbers got increased, it means my asset is increased. So when I'm buying something, it means I'm paying for it, so my cash is going out. So here we are talking about cash inflow and outflow, right? So when I'm buying machine, I'm paying someone, so cash is going out, so we call it as cash outflow. Okay. Now again, when liability increases, now again take the example of that 1000 rupees. I have to pay you 1000 initially. Now I have to pay you 2000. That means my liability increased. The amount that I need to pay you got increased. So what happened here? I did not spend anything. But like suppose you gave me 1000 before. So it means I need to return you 1000. But now I took 1000 more from you. So now overall thing is I need to pay you 2000. Correct? So that liability got increased. But in this transaction, so what happened? I took money from you. So my cash account got more amount from you. So it means cash inflow got occurred. So that means my cash account got increased. So that's why we say cash inflow occurred. I hope the concept of this cash inflow and outflow is clear. Now we are going to, if you see on the left hand side, there is some format. So here we have first cash flow from operating activities. Next we have cash flow from investing activities. Next we have cash flow from financing activities. So we'll see one by one of them. Like we'll see operating first, then investing, then financing. We'll understand each one of them separately, and then we'll jump onto the problem. So what is the concept of operating activities? I have already told you what is the operating activities, what are the transactions are involved. Now how do we find the cost, overall cost in the operating activities? Okay, so for that, the first thing that we do is we try to get the profit before tax. This term is very much important. So you need to get the amount that you have as a profit before tax. Now remember, when we are doing the cash flow statements, we do it with the help of this balance sheet and the profit and loss account. Let me show you this. So when we are doing balance sheet, we need profit and loss account. But when we are doing cash flow statement, we need both profit and loss account and balance sheet. Okay, this is specific to indirect cash flow statement. I repeat this, for indirect cash flow statement, I need both profit and loss account and balance sheet. Okay, now let's get back to our slide. So here we are concentrating on our operating activities. The first thing that we need is the profit before tax. Let me okay, so profit before tax is there. Now in that, too many other options are there. Now profit before tax, we are getting it from profit and loss account. Okay, so profit and loss account means the amount that we are getting, that is the amount known as profit before tax. In that, n number of other costs are also included. So this line is again very important. This concept is very sensitive. Okay, so profit before taxes involves various kind of other cost as well. Okay, like depreciation cost, rent cost, building cost, asset cost. No, not asset cost, because profit and loss account is made out of a nominal account, so it includes all the expenses and all the other things. Okay, but you need to understand that in operating activities we are starting from profit before taxes, which includes all the costs, all types of costs. So but our concentration is to get only the operating cost, or the cost, cash inflow or cash outflow in the operating activities. Okay, now getting back to the point, in the PBT, that is profit before tax, we need to remove all the unnecessary things that is already included. So that is our whole intentions in this complete first part, that is operating activities. So once that is done, we are done with operating activities, nothing else to do. I'll repeat this. We'll start with the profit before tax. In this, we'll remove the unnecessary things that is included, and we'll include the things which is not included already. Okay, so these things we call it as adjustments. So in other words, what I can say is profit before tax has the amount included which belongs to the non-operating activities. Okay, so those non-operating activities amount which is involved, we will remove that. That is, we are doing an adjustment on something which is unnecessary included, and we are going to add something which is not included, which is related to operating activities. Now I think you are getting a clear picture, right? So PBT will remove the unnecessary transactions and will add the operating activities which is not included. That's it, nothing else. So here what we will do is, let's take an example on the surface level, but when we will be doing the numericals, at that time you will get a clear picture. So suppose we got the net income as like say okay, that is a PBT. Now here what we can say is, let me go to the detailed part. Okay, so here for the PBT, that is this, let me write it here, profit before tax. This includes the depreciation as well. Okay, so depreciation is what? The amount or the depreciation is nothing but the amount that we in terms of value that we lost on our asset. Okay, so that is removed from profit before tax. Okay, that is removed, but it is an operational activities, right? So since that is removed, we need to add that back. That's why we are writing depreciation, add depreciation. I hope this is clear. PBT should okay, so no, so depreciation is not related to operational activities. It is not our day-to-day activities. So just one point, if you understand, you will able to solve the complete thing. So what is happening is, in the PBT, that is while doing the profit and loss account, we are removing the depreciation. Why? Because depreciation is nothing but our liability, so we are removing it. But is that related to operating activities? No. So we have to add that back, because something which is not related to operational activities is removed from PBT, so we need to get that back. So we add it. Now again, in profit and loss account, while calculating PBT, interest paid. So interest paid is what? You are paying interest, means you are reducing your liability. Okay, so you are reducing your liability means what? Cash outflow is happening. Cash outflow is happening means what? You are subtracting it. So that is subtracted already. But interest paid is a liability, not an operational activity. So we get that back. You are getting the point? So the things which we removed from PBT and which were not the part of operational activities, we add that back. Okay, because we want only the operational activities to come into picture. So unnecessary things which are removed from PBT, we are getting back. Okay, so the interest paid thing we add. Similarly, loss on sale of fixed asset and investment. So this is something we call at extraordinary items. So extraordinary items means any transaction which cannot be categorized either as an operational activity, either as a financial activity, or either as a, what was the third one, or investing activity. Okay, so the transactions which are not involved is either of these three things, we try to do the adjustment with the transaction in our operational activities. So loss on sale of fixed assets is not an operational activity, it is an extraordinary thing. So again, loss on sale means something which we have removed from PBT already, so we are getting that back and we are adding it. Okay, similarly, if we see interest earned is what? Interest earned is nothing but our asset. So that asset, interest earned, the asset which is again not part of our operational activities. So what we do is, you can see adjustment for non-current and non-operating items credited to P&L account. So these things which are going to study, these three things are included in PBT, so we are removing it. Okay, so you see just this one line, these four things which are removed from PBT, we try to add it back. Okay, and these three things which are added to PBT, we are removing it back, because we want to focus only on operational activity. So here one correction, it is profit after tax. Okay, so while solving the problem, if you are given a profit before tax, you need to add the tax and then you need to get profit after tax. So these things that we have discussed, this can be summarized in 2 lines. Okay, so the thing is, remove the non-operating cost from profit after tax which is included. Okay, and add the operating cost in the profit after tax which is not included. I hope this is clear. Okay, so that's what we are doing in these 2 parts. Okay, now coming back to our operating profit before working capital changes. So this is one category, this is one category, and similarly we will get to the total. So in here what we are doing is, now the concept that we studied, cash inflow or cash outflow, that we are going to use here. Okay, so increase in the operating current liabilities. You can see current liability increased means what? Current liabilities increased. This liability increased means add. Similarly, asset decrease means add. So those 2 cases we are adding. Similarly, the other 2 cases we are subtracting. So that's how we can come to the total. Okay, so this was what we do in the operational activities. So these first two things are these costs which are removed from the PAT, we add them back because those are non-operational activities. Okay, similarly these three things which are again added into PAT, which are again non-operational activities, we should remove them. Okay, so after that, using the concept of cash inflow and cash outflow, we are going to work on this. So if you are not getting it so far, it's fine. When we do the problem, you will get it. Now next is our cash flow from investing activities. Okay, so our questionnaires will be like either to do this or to do categories from this or to do the complete three things. Okay, now cash flow from investing activities. Now we have already seen what is investing activities. Now we'll see here. So we'll have overall a figure given in our balance sheet, so that we will consider here in our investing activities. After that, we will subtract purchase of fixed assets including investment. So here we are talking about investing activities. So from here onwards, we will in everything we are going to use the cash inflow, cash outflow, that concept. Okay, so here what we are seeing is we have some figure here. Okay, now don't remember anything from now onwards. So coming to any investing transactions, so suppose purchase of fixed assets. Okay, if you are purchasing something, means what, the money is going out, so we do subtraction here. Similarly, if you are receiving anything, interest or dividend, means something is coming to you, the amount is coming to you, so you will add it. That's it. We'll sum it all and we'll get the total. So this was like very easy, correct? Similarly, cash flow from financial activities. Again, whatever we are getting, like the assets are increasing, no. So if assets are decreasing or liabilities are increasing, in that case you will add. So let's take an example, repayment of long-term borrowings including the preference share. So here you are paying something, so money is going out. Now this is the transaction of financing. Okay, financing means getting the finance for the organization. So those kind of activities comes under financial activities. So here you are paying out, money is going out, means cash outflow, so you will subtract. Interest you are paying, dividend you are paying, means money is going out, so you will subtract again. So that's how cash and cash equivalents are the, okay, so this will be our final conclusion. So this we will see when doing the sum. Now the net cash flow, okay, all these two are the total for the financial activities. So here simply in the B and C we are using the concept of inflow and outflow, and in the operating activities these two are bit different, but again for the remaining things we are again using the concept of cost in inflow and the cash inflow and the cash outflow, right? So we are good with the concept. Now we will be moving towards the problem. So this is our problem statement. I took it from my college book so that I am sure of the solution as well, the one that I am giving you. So this is the problem statement. I have taken a screenshot of it and now we'll try to solve it. Okay, so we are going to fill in this ABC here itself. Okay, so first thing that we need is profit after tax. Okay, so if it is not given and if profit before tax is given, you will get that and you will add the tax, then you will put. So here in our problem statement, which I have taken a screenshot and kept it on right, you can see we have our profit after tax here. No, so this is profit before tax. So what we will do, sorry, my bad again. So here we have to include profit before tax, right? So the problems that we can come across is here we will be given profit after tax, so we need to find the tax and remove it. So that's why we'll get profit before tax, so we are not paid the tax yet. Okay, so that's how you can see profit before tax is 7,000. We'll write that 7,000 here. And next let's see what are the other things available. So we need to now look for the P&L account. So this left hand side is our P&L account and right side is our balance sheet. So we need to first look for depreciation. Is there any depreciation? Yes, 20,000. So this was removed. If you can see, this was removed from the P&L, which is not a non-operational activity. So we should not consider the cash inflow or outflow happening because of depreciation. So because it was removed, I am adding. I hope now you are getting the concept. Okay, and in the what we can say, in this cash flow statement, if the number is positive, we simply write 20,000, but if the number is negative, we write it in the bracket. So that's how we represent whether something is a negative or positive here. Okay, now next, do we have any interest paid or foreign exchange loss here? No. So what is next? Interest earned, dividend earned? No, nothing is there. So we'll see out of these things what are all there in our given list of transactions. Okay, so one thing that we found is depreciation. Now we can see there is something like respect to liabilities and assets. So is there any liability or assets here? Revenue, no. Income before no. Salaries, expense, no. Now cash and cash equivalent, no. So here you can see we are dealing with liabilities and assets. So will it be there in our profit and loss account? No, because profit and loss account will only have the gains and expenses. So if we are dealing with liabilities and assets, we should look in the balance sheet. So do we have any liabilities or assets here? So first thing is cash equivalent, that we'll deal later because we have that. Now accounts receivable. So if you don't know what is account receivable, let me open this for you. It should be here, just a second. Okay, so you can see here accounts receivable is nothing but a debtors, which is nothing but asset. So here the accounts receivable is our asset. So what we should do with that asset? Now accounts receivable is our day-to-day operational activities. Yes, so that's why we are considering it, not because it is an asset or liabilities, but the transaction happening because of this account receivable will come under operational activity. That's why. Now you can see on March 2019 it was what you can say, it was 8,000. Now it is 7,000. So what is happening? The assets are getting reduced. Let me repeat that again. Account receivable is our asset, and previously it was 8,000. Now it is 7,000. So asset is getting reduced means what? Asset getting reduced means we sold something, means the money is coming in. So we need to add 1,000. Okay. So increase in, what is happening here? Decrease in assets. So decrease in assets is our plus 1,000. I hope you are getting. Let me write this in bold and this as well in bold. So all the numericals we are going to write in bold. Let's see. Okay, now next, do we have any assets or liabilities which is related to our operational activities? So equipment, no. Buying equipment is not an operational activity. And then depreciation we have considered. Total assets, no. Salaries payable. Salaries payable is what? You need to pay something, right? So that is like salary will come under our operational activities. We do that every month or weekly basis. So it will come under operational activities. Now salaries payable means what? It is our liability. Previously it was 1,000. Okay, so first we need to say whether it was a liability or asset. Now we know salaries payable means I need to pay something, so it is a liability. Now what's happening? Previously it was 1,000, now it is 5,000. Means what? My liability is getting increased. So previously I was about to pay 1,000, now I need to pay you 5,000. Means there was no money involved here, but my liability got increased. So it means I didn't pay you the amount that I have to. So I can basically say that I have saved some money. So saved some money is nothing but it is same as that of I didn't give you money. So I can say that here my liability is getting increased. So liability getting increased means what? I saved some money, so cash is increased, I can say. So in that case I will add again this. So what is the difference? 4,000. So I will add 4,000 here. Increase in my operational current liabilities plus 4,000. I hope the concept is clear. So this is completely dependent on our cash inflow and cash outflow concept. Now next is our any other assets or liabilities. Share capital. So share capital will come under it will come under I forgot, one second. Okay, so share capital is nothing but a equity account, so we can consider it as a liability. Now there is no change, so we need not to consider it. Okay, next is our retained earnings. So you can see 25,000. So how do we get this? Okay, this amount we are getting from the profit and loss account. So if you remember, while doing the balance sheet, we were getting the final amount, final profit from the P&L account. Okay, so that's what we do here. So I think we have only these 4 transactions in our P&L account. So finally, after doing all this, you see something here, we need to remove the income tax paid. So the amount of tax that we paid is in terms of expenses. Okay, so that is 2000. So this 2000 I have to remove it, minus 2000. So minus, we don't write it here, we write it in brackets. I'll have this in bold letters. Okay, so here we are done with the operational activity. So let's calculate this. Okay, and we should not write here. Okay, this is positive only, right? Let's open calculator. So we need to find A, B and C. We are done with A. Okay, so we are 7000 plus 20,000 plus 4,000 plus 1,000, and the final is income tax paid, which we have to remove, minus 2,000. So here we can say our net operational activity cost is, net cash flow from operational activities is 30,000. So if we are writing 30,000 and it is not in bracket, means it is positive, means the cash inflow has happened in terms of operational activities. So I hope the process is clear. Now let's move on to our next B and C. Okay, right. So here the first thing we need to see is proceed from sale of fixed asset during investment. So before starting, we need to see what is the investment we have done. So that is our figure 1. Let's read the statement again. Oh my god. Okay, proceeds from sale of fixed asset. So is there some sale of fixed assets is happening there? Because that kind of transaction is nothing but investing activity. So since this is assets, right? So just try to spend less time and get the most out of it. So we have two tables, right? We have P&L account, we have balance sheet. That when we are dealing with assets and liabilities, we should look for balance sheet, and we are looking for gains or expenses, we should look for profit and loss account. Now we are looking for assets, so we will go for the balance sheet. This is our balance sheet. So here we can see cash and cash equivalent is not part, and then we have accounts receivable done, equipment. Now equipment is an asset. Now we are buying something and we are selling some asset or machinery, that is again an investing activities, is it? So equipment is nothing but investing activities. So here we are buying a machinery into it. So what is happening? Equipment at the beginning of the year it was 73,000. Now it is 1 lakh. So means what? Like in terms of cash, what is happening? We are buying more assets. So we are buying more asset means what? Cash is going out. So means cash outflow is happening. Let me repeat this. Previously it was 73,000 worth of asset. Now it is 1 lakh worth of asset. Means what? We got some new assets as well, or we increased our asset. So that means we gave money for that asset. So cash is going out. That's why we will subtract it. For like we will include a negative. What is the difference? 27,000. So here we are going to write bracket and 27,000. I hope you got why we are doing subtraction, because here money is going out from the cash account, so it is cash outflow. So in case of cash outflow, we go for subtraction. So just for clarity, let me repeat this again. Investing activities is anything that deals with a long-term assets. Here machine is a long-term, yes. So we say that transaction will come under investing activities. Then we go for whether it is a inflow or outflow. Okay. Now next we have purchase of fixed assets including investments. Is there any other assets? Okay, purchasing of fixed assets including investments. So okay, equipment, no. Depreciation, done. Total assets, no. Salaries payable, no. Salaries payable was our liability. Okay, that was done. Share capital, no. So share capital is again our liability, which will come under our operational activities. Now retained earnings. Okay, yeah. So I think that's it. Now net cash flow from investing activities our 27,000 negative. So we can say if we consider only the investing activities, there is a cash outflow of amount 27,000. Okay. Now final thing. So this we can say our B. Now our final thing is C. So where we are dealing with financing activities. So financing activities deals with all the transactions which involves getting money for the organization. Okay. For purpose like expanding branch or getting a new building. So those kind of things. Okay. Now here if we see proceeds from issuance of share capital, is there any such thing happening here? equipment, no depreciation, no total assets, no salaries payable, no cash equivalent, no. Cash equivalent, will it come under this? No. Now let's see. So there is no things like shares are open for the public, IPO is released, no such thing is happening. Okay, so let's give a final look whether something is happening. Service revenue, no. Depreciation already done. Salaries expense already done. Income before tax, okay, all these are done. Cash equivalent, no. Accounts receivable, no. So cash equivalent, okay, if you don't know what is cash equivalent, suppose we have an asset, okay, which if we want, as of now we can immediately convert it into a cash, that is called cash equivalent. For suppose I give you check, whenever you want you can convert that into a cash, so that is called cash equivalent. If you have an asset, okay, for which there will be a market every time, okay, so whenever you want to convert that asset into a cash, if there is no risk that market for that product will not be available, then we can say that it is a cash equivalent. So any asset that can be immediately converted to cash is known as cash equivalent. Okay, so we will see that cash equivalent we had initially 2000, but now we have 1000. Means what has happened? Cash equivalent is like cash, so cash is nothing but our asset. So what is happening here? So cash equivalent is there, which is not part of C. So let's conclude the C part, that is net cash flows from financial activities. Then we will go into the net increase. So this till here we are done with the C part. After that we'll go for the cash equivalent. So for that moment being, let's just skip this for a moment. Now if you see something, what is retained earnings coming from? So retained earnings nothing but our previous year amount, that is previous year whatever we had earnings plus this year's our profit, okay, this 5000. So we need to say that the 25,000 that we had from previous year and 5000 profit that we have this year, this is 5000 not 50,000. So if you can see 7000 minus 2000, it should be 5000. Okay, so that 25,000 plus this 2000, what was the amount? 5000. So 25 plus 5, it is 30,000. So we need to have 30k amount in hand. So this is our this year's retained earnings, but what we are seeing that it is only 26k. Okay, so what happened to the remaining 4k? So if the earnings that we have is 20k, means the 4k is gone. So what happened to 4k? It must have been distributed, because if it is not distributed and if we are retaining, means that will come under retained earnings. So if you know that in our complete profit there will be two parts, one part which we distribute to our shareholders and one part which we retain for the company's growth. So here we are retaining only 26, means what happened to the remaining 4k? It was distributed. So we can say in that was in the financing activities we have paid the dividend. Okay, so paid the dividend in the sense we will say a cash outflow is happening, so that's why we write it under bracket, that is negative. I hope this is clear. If there was something mentioned about what happened with the retained earnings, that we could have been clear, but now we can clearly say that 30k is our retained earnings, but we should be retained earning, but we can say only 26k is shown as our retained earnings. So 4k there is no option, but it has been distributed. So that was our 4k thing. Now let's see net increase in cash and cash equivalent. So it was 2000 previously, now it is 1000, means our asset got decreased by 1000. So asset decreased means what? We sold something, is it? Cash equivalent. So asset got decreased. So what happens in that? Okay, so here you can see our cash equivalent is 1000. So it should be like cash and cash equivalent at the end of the year. At the end of the period it should be 1000. So if this is coming as an answer, then we say that our whatever we did so far is correct, because this left side this column is nothing but the beginning of the financial year of 2019 and 2020, right? And this is the end of, okay, let me control Z. Oh, that doesn't happen. Okay, fine. So this is nothing but the end of the financial year of 2019 and 2020. So at the end of the 2019 and 2020 financial year, we can say cash equivalent that we have is 1000. So if this comes as our final what we can say addition, subtraction, what we will do, we say that our final thing or whatever we did so far is correct. So let's quickly be done with this. So our A was, here we had plus 30,000, and here we have minus 27, and here we have minus 4. So we can say net increase in cash and cash equivalents is nothing but 27k, no, what was it, 30k. Okay, so 30,000 minus 27,000 minus 4,000. So you can see this is a 4k, right? So the result of this will be negative 4k. So we say the result of this is nothing but minus 1000. Let's write it in bold letters. So negative things we write in our brackets. So this is our overall net increase in cash and cash equivalent. So that is the state of our we can say cash flow statement. Now what is happening here? Cash and cash equivalents at the beginning of the period. So at the beginning of the period, what was the cash and cash equivalent? It is 2000. So we need to say it is plus 2000. So right. So now if you see, this was our requirement, the required thing, and we can see this minus 1000 plus 2000 is what we are getting as 1000. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Okay. At the beginning of the period it was 2000, and overall throughout the year we came across that we are getting into negative 1000. So finally this 2000 minus negative 1000 that happened from all the activities throughout the financial year, we are left with plus 1000, and that is what given in our balance sheet also. So means whatever cash flow calculations we did was correct. I hope this is making sense and it is clear. If no, you can try to like watch this again. The only concept that it is there is for the cash flow operational activities we got the profit. Okay, I should not confuse you this time. Profit before tax. So we got the profit before tax, and from that we applied two statements, that is remove the non-operating cost from the profit. What is it? Okay, from the profit before tax. Okay, which is included. So this will be before. Okay, so we removed unnecessary things that is added in this amount, which is not an operational activities. Okay, so that was our whole concept. And the final thing, I'll summarize this operational activities again, because there was this concept was too big. Okay, so we get the profit, we get the profit before tax, and from that which includes the P&L transactions, which is non-operational activities. So if that is already removed from this, we try to add them. Okay, and if it is added to them, we try to remove them, because all those transactions are non-operational activities. So effect of those transactions should not affect on our the actual figure. Okay, then we go with the concept of cash inflow and outflow, and we try to solve these things. Finally we come to our net flow, which is say a output of operational activities, and then we get the B and C, and we finally come to our yearly what happened with us. Now this was there with us at the beginning of the year, and when we try to add these two, we try to get what is there at the end with us. So this is what we have, and this is what we have shown in the balance sheet. It means whatever the cash flow statement we have seen is correct, and this is the current capability of the organization in terms of cash. Okay, so yeah, that's it for today. And if you have any other queries, please write down in the comment section, and if you like the explanation, please subscribe and share. Yeah, thank you.